It was nice to see Daniel Bryan after all this time, him being out, seeing that he's well, and him having a good moment inside the ring that was kind of fair, but standard Daniel Bryan. But then end up hearing, well, end up seeing Bo Dallas pretty much kicked out of the ring was quite funny, and it was nice to see Brie Bella after a while. And in my opinion, she's probably pregnant, but that's just me. What did their appearances say this pay per view? Nah. What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and just got done watching Money in the Bank. Now, the one thing I can say about Money in the Bank is that some things that changed always stay the same. Even though I probably got that lingo wrong, but either or, this was a very semi predictable show. It really kind of was. I'm not gonna lie, I got most of my predictions wrong. But in the back of my mind, I kind of knew that some of the predictions will actually be on point. Case in point, Rusev and Big E. Now, you guys heard me rant so much about the whole Cold War thing and also about Russia and how the Russian gimmick is lame and over. But besides all that, I was right about the entire match being about Rusev. Rusev dominated Big E. Big E didn't have a shot in the dark of winning. Seriously. He tried to overpower the Accolade, but he couldn't. He ended up tapping out. Even his whole Southern Baptist preacher promo didn't work. Seriously, that didn't work at all. He ended up losing still. And it was just like Rocky Balboa, the black version of Rocky Balboa versus the Russian. But this time, the Russian won. That's about it. But let's move on to the actual opening fight of the night. The tag team titles with the Usos versus the Wyatts. The one prediction that you can say here is that if the Wyatts won, then Bray Wyatt would actually win the championship, making them the most dominant psychotic heels in WWE history. But did they win? No, they lost. So we know that for the main event, we know Bray Wyatt was not going to win, so we will cross him out. But the Usos ended up winning, and I really didn't care much because I really want the Wyatts to win because they would do so much for the belt. They would make the faces actually want to take the belt off of them and make the whole championship worth more. But of course, they had the Usos still win it, and it's gonna still be boring, and they're not going to defend it for at least a month. That's pretty much how it's gonna go in my opinion. But let's move on to the Divas title. This Divas title match I was excited about because Paige is actually a good wrestler, as well as Naomi. Naomi is very athletic, and Paige knows her submission holds. And she usually has everybody tap out just like that. But this time, she did not use any submission holds to make Naomi, she make Naomi tap out. She actually just won cleanly, and that was really a great battle. Now I would say this: the crowd, I don't know. The crowd were a bunch of jerks. They usually are. They either do CM Punk chants or they kind of boo and just say boring and don't really give it much of a chance. I didn't really hear much chance when it came to this match, but I heard a lot of chance when it came to the second Divas match. But besides all that, Paige won without Cameron interfering, which was really strange because I thought that they actually made a teaser that somehow the Funkadactyls were going to break up and probably break up tonight. But instead, I guess they changed their mind out of the blue like they usually do. And now the Funkadactyls are still together, even though that tension is still there. And no interference from Cameron. I kind of wish there was interference so somehow Cameron would actually start feuding with Paige and do something with her instead of her having matches every night. For crying out loud, give her a decent feud. But anyway, let's move on from there. The second Divas match of the night was Summer Rae versus Layla. Now this actually had a decent build. It's had a great story behind it, and you can kind of relate to both of them. You know, you can kind of relate to Layla being the new girlfriend and Summer Rae being the scorned one. And honestly, the way that it happened, you kind of predicted that Summer Rae was not going to win. I was hoping that it would be Summer Rae, but my whole version was Summer Rae and Layla were gonna pair up to be Lay Cool Part 2, or Lay Cool 2.5, or Lay Cool 2.0. But that didn't really happen. Summer Rae ended up losing and Layla ended up winning, even though Fandango was the true winner of that match. But for somehow Summer Rae didn't even have an announcer call her out when she came out to the ring. So you kind of knew right then and there she was going to lose. But in the end, she was left crying in the ring, like all the other chicks that lose their boyfriends do. And I don't know where they're gonna go from there with Summer Rae at all. But they ended up playing the old classic like cool music. And I'm like, was that trying to hint something? Was that something you guys were going to do, but somehow changed your mind at the last minute that y'all were gonna pair up? I mean, I don't know. But in the end, Layla won. She got her man back. Yay. And in the end, like Fandango ended up winning. Yay. But let's move on from there. Okay. Well, we had two ladder matches that were really pretty interesting. I will say that I liked the contract match. The contract match was pretty exciting. It was really interesting to watch, but it was way too short. I felt like it ended just like that, and it didn't really have a chance to pick up and take off. But instead, the ending, they had pretty much the cheapest ending of all ladder match endings, and that was having Kane help Seth Rollins to get the Money in the Bank briefcase, even though Kane was not needed, let alone being part of the match. Honestly, you had Seth Rollins when he was with the Shield dominate Evolution, so why in the world would Kane even need to come out to help Seth Rollins? It makes him look cheap. Cheap and pathetic. Come on now, guys. Really? But anyway, that was the cheapest ending I've ever seen in a long time. And I don't even think they've done that in a ladder match in a long time for what I can remember. But honestly, yeah, it was just horrible and horribly lame. I probably talked about this, but if I didn't, I'm going to talk about it again. The Golden Stardust, or Golden Stardust versus Rybaxel. It's interesting to actually see Cody Rhodes do a completely different gimmick, but it's even funnier to see that he's doing his gimmick better than Goldust. Seriously, he's way better than Goldust. Something I never really would expect. He seems like he's kind of comfortable in his own skin, having face paint on. But besides all that, it was a really great match to watch. Cody was definitely in his element, and he was really good in the ring. And the fact that they won was something that everybody's already predicted. We knew Rybaxel was not going to win in any way, shape, or form. But we knew that Golden Stardust was going to look good regardless. So yeah, I will say this. Golden Stardust for the win. Way to go. I'm probably going to leave out a lot of other matches. And if I do, it's pretty much because I'm tired. And you kind of get bored a little bit after watching that pay-per-view. I got bored a lot. But I will say this. Adam Rose and Damien Sandow was a random match that was just thrown in there. There probably was another match thrown in there, but I can't really remember it. But I will say that I've already made my whole comment about Damien Sandow from my Wrestler's Graveyard video. But I will say this about Adam Rose. We will not ever, for some strange reason, see Adam Rose's potential as long as the Exotic Express is around. I want to see Adam Rose in his true element and at least have a decent match that's 2 minutes long. Or maybe a little bit more, maybe 3. But at least showcase what he can do. Instead of his stupid skipping around or jumping up and down and singing with the Exotic Express. It's starting to get old with me, and I'm starting to get a little bit teed off. I really do want to see what Adam Rose can offer instead of seeing him in that ridiculous gimmick all the time. Don't get me wrong, it is fun. It can be fun occasionally, but seeing it all the time can get a little bit boring, especially for me. But yeah, I mean, did you really think that Damien Sandow was going to win? No. And the fact that he actually lost against Adam Rose was insulting. Seriously, it was. But let's move on to the main event of the night. I probably did forget another match, but if I did, leave a comment in the comment section below about how you feel about all the matches. But I'm going to talk about the main event. Now, this is something that the IWC and the YWC have been talking about for a long time. Everyone's been making predictions that Cena was going to take the belt, especially depending on who actually had the briefcase. Now, the fact that Seth Rollins won a briefcase, people were predicting that Cena was going to take it, and they were right. John Cena actually became the new champion, and honestly, I thought that somebody was going to cash in tonight, but that didn't happen at all. Do I have any beef that John Cena actually won? No. Better him than Orton. I'm really getting tired of Randy Orton. Seriously, I really am. He's been champion for a little bit too long, and it's time for him to actually go on a back burner for a while. Or at least have him build up as a decent heel before he actually becomes champion. But seriously, y'all, I really got no beef for the fact that John Cena's winning. But it kind of makes me sad that Roman Reigns ended up winning the title. It would be nice to actually see somebody new and different just to take a chance on somebody to see how they are with the title instead of putting it on the same guy over and over and over again. And that's my only beef that I have with Cena, but not him as a person. But I would really like to see Roman Reigns, but since I didn't, Cena's now the winner. And we just have to learn to deal with it until he loses the belt, probably at SummerSlam. But who knows? He might have it longer than that. But on the real, y'all, my overall thoughts is this. This was a very underwhelming pay-per-view. I thought I would actually care about it, and there were some matches that I did care about and was hyped up at first. But when it actually got played out right in front of me live, I didn't care much for it. It was kind of like, meh. I mean, that's how I consider it at all. I've had more fun tweeting about it than I did actually seeing the show, which kind of says something. But guys, I want to hear your overall thoughts of Money in the Bank. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response on how you personally feel about the pay-per-view or what you want to do about it. Or honestly, how you would change it if you had the authority to change all the matches. What would you do to make it seem better or make it better than it was tonight, in my opinion? But guys, I'm going to bed. This is Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.